So, could you guys just introduce yourselves, go around one by one, and then I guess Viv, you finish off by telling us what Jin is all about.
Okay. My name is Viv Srinath, and I am the president of GIN this year.
Hi, my name's Aditya Datta, and I'm an officer of GIN this year.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm also an officer of GIN this year.
I'm Alana Bregman, and I am also an officer of GIN this year.
Sorry, do you just want to tell me kind of the Jin's mission?
Yeah. So the mission of GIN is basically to build a network of activists around the world in order to create a fruitful discussion about global issues. And we do this two ways. Usually, what we're known for is that we go to conferences and host conferences in order to try to connect different groups of people together in dialogue. And also, we try to do a lot of advocacy work and indirect service to raise awareness about specific issues that clubs may not be covering. Because as a part of a global issues network, we try to have a focus on a variety of issues across the spectrum in order to really raise awareness about things that people aren't thinking of.
Okay, and then do you guys just want to tell me kind of if there wasn't any like pandemic restrictions, do you want to just tell me the kind of activities you've done in the past before?
So usually from last year, we have been doing GinCast, which is every month or so, we send out a podcast that talks about global issues. And in that, we have interviews and we talked in depth about a bunch of different issues. Other than that, we also have EcoSES going on right now. And in EcoSES, we're partnering with a bunch of different service clubs. And in that, we're trying to reduce the plastic that's used in our school as a whole. And we also have elementary teaching, in which we usually go down to the elementary and teach them about how they can become more sustainable. And yeah, I think that's our major activities.
Yeah. And also in the past previously, we've also gone to conferences in Shanghai and Kalimantan. We've hosted a conference here in Singapore. And last year, if COVID hadn't happened, we were planning on going to two conferences, actually, one in South Korea and the other in Luxembourg. Some of our other activities in the past have been participating in Earth Week. We also helped organize last year a climate solidarity event to show solidarity with all the students that were striking, so governments could actually do something about climate change. So yeah, that's sort of the activities that we've done in the past. A lot of it has to do with sustainability, but really that's not all.
Wait, I kind of want to say something. It's not like completely related. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I guess like one thing that's just like special about GIN that like you don't really get in that many other clubs is that like most other clubs, they just have members like do predetermined things that are determined by the officers. But in GIN, like members are basically all part of committees and they play like an integral part in the process from like brainstorming all the way to like initiating and like doing all these like projects and all that in order to actually work on the issues themselves. In GIN, like it's the members that basically get to do most of the like brainstorming and actually doing these projects and carrying them out and as compared to other clubs.
GIN basically tries to implement elements of both vertical and horizontal structures within our organizations. Insofar as obviously we have a team of officers that direct the different work that committees do, but within committees itself, it's very member driven, right? So we have entire projects that will be run by 2 or 3 members. The people actually going and doing elementary school teaching are not officers. Obviously, officers will participate, but it's mainly the members that actually do it, right? Because we like to think that within GIN, we're more than a club. We really try to cultivate like a sense of family and like a friend group where we can all be comfortable and we can all be comfortable about sharing ideas as well.
Okay. So I guess could you guys go around and kind of tell me what your favorite memory with Jin has been so far?
I had a lot of good memories with GIN last year. I think we did a lot of good things. We had the straw sales, Earth Week, we did multiple different things. Even though we had to do it on Zoom, we still managed to do stuff there. I liked the Fridays for the climate event. I think that was cool. We did that. That was probably my favorite memory, one of them.
I guess for me, I would say I probably have like two favorite memories. Like one of them was the Origin conference that we held back in I think it was like slightly more than a year ago. And basically like we held like a mini like symposium or like conference here at SAS, and we invited many speakers to come and talk about like global issues and all that. So it was like really interesting. Like we got to hear a lot of them, but just like the process of just planning it out and just watching it all come to fruition and watching all this discussion about these important issues, I just felt it was like at the end of the day, it was just really meaningful to me, and I felt this was one of my favorite moments. And I guess the other one would be probably regeneration, also in that year, just because like we got to do so many things. So just like the nature walk at night in the forest, that was really fun. And that was just kind of getting to be in nature, hearing about all these things and what we need to do to like save the environment and keep the world where we're living in sustainable for the future.
Yeah. My favorite memory with Jin would be when I went for the ES teaching, because at this point, this was like with fourth graders, and we were playing a bunch of different, just like we were teaching them about sustainability through Kahoot, and they all just got so excited, and that just made me really happy to see that a lot of other people also really care about this world and also wanted to be like also want to create a sustainable world, and that we really do have like a possible future and a good future.
And for me, one of my favorite memories personally, outside of the Origin conference, was EcoSAS, because it felt really meaningful to be working with all the other environmental clubs to actually try to eliminate plastic from the cafeteria, to try to get people to use orange plates, because this is something that students have been working on for like 2 decades at this point. So, having meetings with Mr. Lee and people that work in, people that work in the cafeteria as well, it makes you feel like you're actually working towards, a better future, that people will actually care about, and people will actually know about, in like 2 or 3 generations of students. In that sense, it's really special.
Okay, and then I guess just to wrap up, you guys just want to detail what Jin's longer term goals are, just beyond just a year into the future.
I mean, beyond just a year into the future, again, we'll say that we really, a big part of our long-term goals is definitely to try to make our school sustainable as possible. We would say zero waste, ideally. So that means try not only eliminating plastic from, the lower floor of the cafeteria, that means really changing how people actually view their relationship to the environment in our school in the first place, right? Which is a project for us that will take not 3 years or 4 years, but that's going to take like 7 years to like a decade. So that's one of our big goals as well. And then finally, just to have a continuation of what we're doing right now, which is to try to find issues that not many people are talking about, and keep raising awareness about them, right? So expanding our media presence and all of that in order to create a more sustainable future.
And I guess there's something to add to that. Like at the end of the day, like another thing that Jin just aims to do is just like raise its members to be like good global citizens that like are knowledgeable about like all these global issues that are happening and like know about ways to solve them. And like you all, by being in part of this club, you get to like brainstorm ideas yourself on how to solve them and actually implement them and put them into action. And so you learn so much more about these issues, and then like just even after Jin, or you just end up just having a much better understanding, and you can just go into the world knowing that you can make a difference and that there are things that you know what to do to make the world a better place.
Okay. And I guess just, I know I said that we would wrap up with the last question, but if I joined Jin, what would be expected of me as a member? Like, what am I getting myself into?
It would be expected that if you make commitments in order, like to go to committee meetings, if you're participating in projects, for example, that you would actually do that work. And we hold our members to quite a high standard in that regard. It would also probably be expected that you participate within the club, not only in just like activities, but also like in just wider discussions. That you're open with the officers and all of that.
And I guess like in gym, like most of the club is just basically made of committees. So we'll have multiple different committees and each one meets at a different time each week. So it's honestly like really flexible and you can go to whichever committee like fits with your schedule. However, like if you go to one committee, you should probably try to commit to going to that like as often as you are able to. But it's just like each committee is kind of separate and works on a different project each time. So it's okay. You don't have to make like every single committee meeting that we have.